Hello, everybody. It is CJ McKenna back once again for week 3 of talking about the Sensitive Nachos. Today, I'll be discussing our third release, our second full length record, Primegalime, released February 19th, 2015. As always, I'm going to go back in time a little bit because this is also an oral history of the band. So let's go ahead and talk about some stuff that happened before this record actually came out. So our last release before this was A Sensitive Christmas, which came out on Christmas Day, 2014. So after that came out, we immediately started thinking about our next record. We had given up the thought and idea of trying to re-record Under the Influence, and we just wanted to get new material out right away. And luckily, Thomas had a bunch of new material. In fact, a lot of these songs were actually written way earlier than they got released. Like White Trash Alien was written in the summer of 2014, Join Us is pretty early on in the school year. Even You and I Were Meant to Be Together, we actually played that song on our Live in the Lunchroom set. So yeah, we had a bunch of new material. It was just all down to getting it recorded. So our recording setup actually changed a bit compared to the last full length, Under the Influence, because it was a new school year. We were in 10th grade this year, and we no longer had a lunch period together. So we had to find other ways to record at school, because it was so nice having that hour of lunch or however long it was, but we didn't have that anymore. So we had to record in between periods or just before school started. It was a bit frustrating because we really wanted to get stuff done, but we had such a limited amount of time. I believe there was only 4 minutes in between bells. So yeah, oftentimes Thomas was always late to class, and even sometimes I would be late, even though I hated being late because I was like a little goody two-shoes. But I could kind of get away with being late because I was such a quiet, invisible kid. I feel like I could just sneak in the back and nobody would even notice or care. And it's funny that I'm explaining our recording process because there's actually video proof of what it was like. Yes, for this album and this album only, there is a making of video on our YouTube channel that you can check out right now. It's called The Making of Primegalime, and it's something that I put together back in the day. I've always been really into capturing time periods, and I was so conscious of that at that time that I really wanted to capture what it was like for us to be recording these songs. So I remember I started recording us recording these songs. I would take out my Android phone and I would just press record, and I wouldn't like point the camera at anybody. I would just like kind of hide it. And yeah, I just recorded us recording our songs. Now the making of video is super awkward, super uncomfortable, weird. I don't know, like, did we actually act like that? I guess we did. We were just really weird kids. But it also probably didn't help that half the time, Thomas didn't even know I was recording, and I would never be paying attention to the camera either, so we would be making these really weird faces on camera. The angle would be absolutely terrible. It was just, the whole making of video is so funny, and the way that we like talked to one another, and the way that we expressed our ideas, it's a pretty hilarious look back on what it was like to make some of these songs. And I remember wanting to capture more footage, but Thomas started getting really mad at me for having the camera out. He's like, "Why do you have the camera out again?" I guess he just wanted to like focus on the craft. He didn't want to like have to worry about how he looked or whatever it may be. But yeah, he started getting really angry, so I stopped recording. But I was lucky enough to get quite a bit of footage of us recording. And yeah, it's just funny to look back on, really. And there's a scene in the making of video where I talk about how Thomas is wearing the Sensitive Nachos shirt. I forgot to mention this. I actually made him a Sensitive Nachos shirt. I also made Roger Wolcott one as well. And what I mean by making them a shirt is I would just take a blank shirt that I had, and I would take a Sharpie marker, and I would just draw our logo, and then I would draw the Sensitive Nachos in really messy handwriting. And that was how I made the Sensitive Nacho shirts. So yeah, 2 of them exist. I don't believe Thomas still has his, but he might. I think he actually might have given it away. Maybe he actually gave it to Roger. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe there was actually only one. I don't really remember, but I remember making some Sensitive Nachos shirts, and I just wanted to throw that in there real quick. So anyway, back to the recording process. As I was saying, we would record in between periods, and then we would also sometimes record before school started. We would both meet each other at this little hallway that we like to call the loser stairs or the lame-o stairs. It was outdoors. It was kind of close by the drama and band room. Nobody would really go over there except for us, so it was kind of isolated and nice. You can actually see me running down the stairs in the making of video if you guys want to get a visual of what that place looked like. And once again, we were recording on Thomas's iPhone using GarageBand, but this time was a little bit different because Thomas actually had a new pair of earbuds. They were like these white earbuds that had a little microphone on them. So obviously, whoever was recording their part, they would want to be wearing the microphone because it'd be louder. So you can actually hear in the making of video, like, oh, do you have the mic? Do I have the mic? And we also experimented with double tracking for the first time on this album. Yeah, that was something that I guess we discovered when we were recording A Sensitive Christmas. And we're like, oh, it sounds better and more full when you record the part twice. So we decided to do that on this EP or album. That's another thing. We were so confused. Like, is this an EP? Is this an album? We didn't really know what to call it at the time. But technically speaking, it is an album. It's 8 songs. Even though it's short as hell, it's still technically an album. And as for the writing process goes, Thomas pretty much wrote the entire album. Technically, Pancakes was a co-write. I wrote some of the lines in that song. And then My Foot Is Stuck in a Boot was just a re-recording of a song of our first record. But everything else was just completely Thomas. He wrote all the music, all the lyrics except for a couple lines in Pancakes. Yeah, for this record, he pretty much wrote the songs at his house, and then he would bring them in and show them to me, and then I would learn them at school and then put my own kind of flavor to them. So yeah, and he wrote some really good songs on this record, I think. I think there's some staples on this album for sure. We tried to write more songs together, but some of them just didn't make the record, which I guess I'll get into right now. So, in 10th grade year, it was kind of special because it was the only year of our high school experience where we actually had one class together, and it was this biology class with a teacher named Miss Nalberto. Now, the older I get, the more I feel bad for Miss Nalberto. I mean, all the shit that she had to deal with, all these annoying, rowdy American kids who didn't give two shits about biology. And, me and Thomas were part of the problem. I mean, we were terrible students. Most of the time, we would just be like, joking around, like watching movies or trying to write songs. Yeah, we just didn't give two shits. Maybe that's why we barely passed the class. And I bring her up because we actually wrote Pancakes in that class. And then we tried to write 2 more songs in that class, which is shown in the making of film, but those 2 songs just weren't really good enough. There was one called Hangin' Penguin. Hangin' penguin, look at me, throw yourself into the sea, throw yourself into the sea, yeah, yeah. Never gets old. I still remember that chorus, because it's just so stupid, but it's pretty memorable. And there was another song that we tried to write in that class when we should have been doing work, but that's besides the point. The working title for that one was Politics 2/EOS Bat. And that was another one that just didn't really work out, but you can actually see us trying to record it in the making of documentary film. So yeah, you could see us kind of going through it. And by the time the bell rings, Thomas is like, I don't even know if the song is that good. And it's hilarious because it's just so painfully accurate. Like sometimes you're working on a song and you're just not feeling it. So you just kind of give up on it. And that's what happened with those 2 songs, Hangin' Penguin and EOS Bat. We just kind of stopped. Like we were just like, these are kind of dumb. And yeah, but it's funny because in the making of film where I talk about how we're writing these songs, there's like a part where it's like completely black. That was because I guess at the time they were trying this new thing where they're like, oh, you remember information more, or it's easier to study if the lights are off. So that's why the lights are off, and you could see like a fish tank because they were trying this new study apparently. But yeah, I actually don't have a copy of either of those songs because we never actually ended up finishing them. We just kind of gave up on them because we thought they were dumb. But yeah, if you want to see the lyrics to them, they're actually available on the Sensitive Nachos website, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, both of those 2 songs were actually punk songs, believe it or not. I know I said in the Under the Influence episode that we never ended up doing punk songs with GarageBand instruments again, but I forgot. We actually did those 2 songs, which featured completely just programmed GarageBand instruments, but the songs never came out, so I don't really count them, and I often forget about those 2 songs because they don't even exist anymore. But yeah, I thought I'd mention that real quick. Oh, and before I actually get into talking about this record in full detail, I want to make note of a couple things that happened right before the release of this record, and I mean literally like right before. So on February 14th, 2015, we actually came out with a Valentine's Day song for Valentine's Day, and it was called Valentine's Day Sucks, and it was a single that we released exactly on Valentine's Day. And let's just say Valentine's Day wasn't the only thing that sucked, because that song, it wasn't the best. But yeah, that was kind of like a pop punk, like, it had like kind of like a weird progressive rap breakdown in it though, but it was kind of like a pop punk song essentially, that was kind of jagged and awkward. Really, it wasn't all that bad of a song, but I guess we were kind of embarrassed by it, so we took it down. But yeah, that was the only song we ever took down in our whole career. Valentine's Day Sucks. And the artwork to it was, the artwork sucked. Thomas had written Valentine's Day Sucks on a piece of cardboard. and then he took a picture of it, and that was the artwork. I don't know why he did that, because I had actually made artwork for it, but then he showed me that artwork, and I was like, oh, like I didn't want to hurt his feelings and say like, oh, I made artwork too, and like get rid of his idea. But yeah, so I never showed him my artwork. But you can see my artwork that I created on the Sensitive Nachos website, and you can also see his original artwork too. But I think it was just because he didn't really know how to make artwork back in those days, so he just took a picture of a cardboard sign. But yeah, I thought it was originally as like an artistic statement, like Valentine's Day sucks, let's have like a sucky album cover to go with it. Like, but no, I think it was just he didn't really know what he was doing. But yeah, we took that song down, which is kind of a shame, honestly, because it really wasn't all that bad. But yeah. I wanted to make note of that real quick. And then I also wanted to make note of a side project that Thomas and I did around this time period called Closet Doors. How that happened was on the day of the Super Bowl, Thomas messages me saying, we should make a noise rock album today under the name Closet Doors. And that's exactly what we did. Yeah, we just started writing songs and working on these songs. And we wanted to get the album done on Super Bowl day, and the day we got the idea for it, but I kind of got set back because I had to go over to my aunt's house, and yeah, so we ended up finishing it, I think like 2 weeks later. But yeah, that record was called Goldfish Massacre. It features Thomas on guitar, me on bass. We both sing on the record, we both write lyrics for it. And it's just like a crazy noise rock, alternative, weird album. Obviously, the drums were programmed by GarageBand. It was just the two of us once again. But I wanted to make note of that record real quick because that came out February 17th, 2015, 2 days before this record. If you guys want to hear me talk about that record and explain the history behind that one, go into full detail about that one, let me know because I will gladly do it. So anyway, back to Primegalime. Let's go ahead and start talking about the songs. Hopefully this episode is a lot shorter than the others because, damn, you'd think that I liked hearing myself talk or something because I just go on and on and on and gush over Thomas's songs so much in those other episodes. So I want to keep this one a little bit shorter, a little bit more concise. So let's get right to it. Let's talk about track 1, Primegalime. Now this is just an opening skit song that Thomas came up with. So the first half of it is Thomas singing Primegalime in sort of like a barbershop quartet style. And then the second half of it we recorded at school. So that's me screaming, Primegalime! And then Thomas going, dude, it's Primegalime. And then you can hear me saying, oh. So yeah, the first half was just Thomas harmonizing with himself. And then we recorded the second half with me screaming at school. So that's what this song is, a quick little opener. But you guys are probably wondering, what the hell even is Primegalime? Why is this record called that? Why is there an opening skit called that? What is Primegalime? Primegalime is something that Thomas actually came up with after a misheard Beastie Boys lyric. And let me tell you, for years, I didn't know which Beastie Boys song it was that he misheard the lyric to. For some reason, I always thought it was a song off Check Your Head. So whenever I would listen to that record, I would be listening for a line that sounded similar to Primegalime, but I found nothing. So I was like, what song did he mishear a lyric from? And then I found it. Literally, it was only like a month ago that I found out where Primegalime comes from, because I was cleaning out my old email, and he had sent me this snippet of a Beastie Boys song, and I'm listening to it like, why did he send me this song? And then I hear it. I hear a line that sounds similar to Primegalime. Yes, the Beastie Boys song in question that I just found out years later is actually Time to Get Ill off their first record, License to Ill. I got rhymes galame, I got rhymes galil, I got more rhymes than Phyllis Diller. Yeah, I love that song. At the time, I was pretty much more of a casual Beastie Boys fan at the time. I became a gigantic, obsessed fan in my senior year of high school, a couple years after this. But yeah, that's where Primegalime comes from. Time to Get Ill. It all makes sense now, doesn't it? Anyways, track 2 is And a 1, 2, 3, 4. I like to view this song as like a rap intro song. It's like another intro to the rap that's going to appear on this album because it's so short and there's not really much to it. But yeah, that's Thomas and I singing the chorus, but the verses are just Thomas. And I actually have a funny story about this song. So we first tried recording this song in the morning at the Loser Stairs, and I got the idea to do these backing screams at each one of Thomas's ending verse lines. So I would be screaming, funky, falaki, like really, really loud in the morning, trying to record this song. And while I was doing that, I look over and I see a police officer and a teacher walking down the loser stairs right towards us. And they were pretty pissed off. Apparently, they thought that somebody was in danger or somebody was screaming profanity. Yeah, they were not happy with us because I guess they really thought somebody was like getting hurt or getting beat or somebody was just like being annoying and screaming profanity. It was so ridiculous. And usually, like, I would be really nervous, but I remember not being nervous at all. I just explained the situation. I was like, we're just trying to record this song. We weren't screaming profanity. We were screaming the words funky and falunky. And they just wanted nothing to do with us. They weren't having it at all. But yeah, if you ever wondered why in, like, the description of this record on Bandcamp, why it says that cops were called, that's why. Because the cops were called while we were trying to record this song. And the funny thing about it is that that version of the song isn't even on the record. We ended up taking out the loud screams and re-recording the song. But yeah, so I got in trouble for nothing, really. The cops were called for nothing. But we always joked about how it would have been funny if we were recording the conversation of the police talking to us. But we weren't, sadly. But yeah, I remember like being kind of proud of that interaction that the cops were called. I thought it was so cool while we were recording this record. And you might be wondering, what is a falunky? A falunky is like a diss word that we came up for people we don't like. I don't remember where it originates from, but it's just something that we used to say a lot, like you're a falunky. So that's where that comes from. But yeah, these lyrics were obviously written all by Thomas alone in his bedroom. I like the lyrics though, like no one talks to us, we ride the short bus, well thank Jesus we're not named Gus. It's like, what? It's just so random. But yeah, more of an intro rap song than like a real song, as I was saying. But it leads directly into track 3, which is Join Us. Now, Join Us is actually one of my favorite Sensitive Nachos songs. This is another one that Thomas wrote completely by himself that he brought into me and showed me. And yeah, I think this song is such an anthem. Like, if we had like a signature song, I feel like this song would be it, because it just perfectly describes what we were about at the time. Like we didn't give a shit about major labels or like all the crappy bands that they wanted to sign. We were just doing our own thing independently because really we had no other choice. Nobody was interested in our music anyway. But yeah, I just love this song. I really like the lyrics. And yeah, I really like this one. The beat's pretty cool too. I remember recording this one. It's actually documented in the making of video, which is cool to see. I guess a little couple tidbits I remember about it is me doing "Cut your hair, fuck no," which I can actually still kind of do that. Fuck no. And then Thomas goes, "And wear wristbands." I always like that line. And then Thomas does some like metal screams in the song too. He actually does that a lot on this record and then By Losers for Losers as well. I guess he was really into bands like Psycho Stick and even like Anal Cunt at this time. He was into like a lot of music that like I've never seen him listen to since. Like he really liked Flipper, Butthole Surfers, but he also really liked pop punk and like MC Lars and Real Friends. So he was kind of listening to a lot of different stuff at this time period. And of course the Bloodhound Gang were always a big influence on him. But yeah, this song I always really liked, and I always viewed this as being like our anthem song. Even though the chorus may be a little bit too repetitive at the end, but that's okay. And the mix is kind of bad. I feel like the vocals are very quiet on this one, but who cares about all that stuff? Oh yeah, and there's a line in this song that says, "I know you threw our demo away. You were hoping that thing never saw the light of day, but I got news for you. We're coming back." Yeah, it actually references that we used to call Under the Influence a demo, as I was saying in earlier episodes, because we were so embarrassed by it and the recording quality that we always kept trying to re-record it and just call the original version a demo. Yeah, and I kind of remember this song being one of the first written for this record, and it actually might have been like the comeback song that Thomas originally wrote to get back into writing for the Sensitive Nachos, now that I think about it, because it really is kind of an anthem, and it, like he mentions in the song, like we're coming back. So yeah, I don't know. I believe that's correct. But one thing is for sure is that we used to consider Under the Influence a demo, and it is kept in the line in this song because it sounds good, and we forgot to change it, I guess. But yeah, if you're wondering, like, oh, I don't have the Sensitive Nachos demo, it's just Under the Influence. That's what we called it back in these days. Anyway, track 4 is Pancakes. As I was saying earlier, this is one of the few co-writes on the record, and we actually wrote this song in Miss Nalberto's biology class. And the lyrics were inspired by a real-life conversation we were having about how I don't really like pancakes all that much. I mean, I do, but I just don't love them as much as other people do. Like, I prefer waffles or other breakfast foods, but then again, I do like pancakes. It's just kind of confusing. But yeah, I remember Thomas being like, "What? You don't like pancakes?" And that's what inspired this track. And yeah, we were just writing these goofy lyrics in class and having so much fun with it, like kind of like the Under the Influence days. And if you guys actually want to see the original lyrics we were writing out, I actually have them on the Sensitive Nachos website, so go ahead and check that out when you get a chance. Or don't, I don't really care. But yeah, this song features me doing like a British vocal, and that British vocal, or that English accent, was actually inspired by the duck character in the Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared series. So that's where it comes from, where I go like, I don't think they're bad. You misunderstood me. I don't really prefer them while I'm sipping on my tea. Speaking of that line, I wrote that line and I was so proud of that line. I loved the way that like I just made it fit into the song and how it kind of like twirls. Like, I don't know, I just really liked the flow of it. I remember being so proud of that line. There's a couple other lines in the song that I wrote. I just love all the stops and starts in this song. The other line I wrote was, "What am I, a donut-loving cop?" That's such a me line. And then it stops, "Donuts? Yeah, I like donuts." It's just such a ridiculous song. But there's another line in this song that was also inspired by a real-life event, a real-life argument, actually, that Thomas and I had. It's when Thomas goes, "Hey, dude, MC Lars is on Warped Tour." And I say, "Congratulations." And he goes, "Dude, no one says congratulations." That was inspired by a real life fight we had. He had texted me, "Dude, MC Lars is on Warped Tour." And I wrote back, "Congratulations." I don't really know why, but I guess I was just a mean kid back in those days. Like, because I was very anti-Warped Tour. I was very anti-everything. I just hated everything. And yeah, I wrote congratulations because like I didn't give two shits. Like, why are you texting me this? But he got like really offended by it, and we had this like big argument. And then I tried to save my ass by saying, "Oh no, like I was just happy for you. That's why I was saying congratulations." And he actually believed it. So we kind of like made that into this song. But yeah, I was a little asshole back then. But yeah, that's what inspired that line. But I do remember that the ending of this song Thomas came up with. He came up with like the pancakes, yeah, eat them while you're cheating on your pancake exam part. I think he came up with that melody by himself. I think he like finished the song kind of by himself, but the main bulk of it was us. So yeah, I've always really liked this song. And again, this is another one where you could see us recording it, at least the ending part, in the making of movie. And another thing about the ending of this song is that when we do the last pancakes line, I say, "That's a wrap?" And I just stop singing, but Thomas keeps going because he originally wanted to do the chorus part one more time. And I was like, why? And you can actually see us kind of like, I don't know, a little bit of tension at the end of the making of for this song, because I'm like, why? I just want to go to class. Like, and he's like, fine, I guess we won't do it one more time. And I gotta say, maybe I was right about that. I think it's kind of nice being short and sweet the way it is. But yeah, I've always really liked this song, Pancakes, one of my favorites off the record. Yeah, I guess that leads us to track 5, which is My Foot is Stuck in a Boot. Now, this is obviously just a re-recording of a song that was on our first record, Under the Influence, and the reason why we re-recorded it is because I had this idea that we would re-record this song for every single album we would make. And yeah, we never ended up going through with that. This is the only time we ended up re-recording it. But I really wanted to do that just because this song kind of has a life of its own, especially when it's recorded randomly live. And yeah, so I wanted to make that happen, but it didn't happen. But at least it happened for this record. But in all honesty, I don't even really like this version that much. The original is the best version. This version is nothing. But I do have kind of a fond memory of recording it. But before I get into recording, I just want to say that it was kind of my idea to re-record the song for every album because Bowling for Soup tried to do that with their song Belgium, and I remember thinking that was really cool, and I was like, well, we could do that for this song. But yeah, obviously it didn't happen. But anyway, my cool memory of recording this song is that we recorded it in the morning, and it was absolutely freezing outside. I think you can even hear Thomas saying, "So cold, so cold." I have this like distinct vision in my mind of him like giving his shoulders a shudder, saying that it's so cold. But yeah, it was freezing outside. I mean, it was Florida, but like we weren't used to the cold, and it was randomly cold this morning. And we decided to record this song then and there. And I have this other vivid memory of Thomas grabbing me by the arm, and we were kind of like going in circles really fast while trying to sing along to this song, which it just ends in total chaos. I mean, this version is just, It pretty much sucks, honestly. The first version is the best. But I have such a distinct memory of recording this one that I guess it's kind of worth existing because of that distinct memory of us just going really fast in a circle, it being freezing, and it just being complete chaos. Probably looking like two weirdos, as we often did, just singing these songs into a microphone while we were just going in circles, spinning each other round and round and round and round and round and round. And it even starts sounding weird because you can hear our breath. Like, we're just so out of breath and it sounds kind of creepy. But yeah. Anyway, track 6 is White Trash Alien. Now, this is a song that Thomas wrote in the summer of 2014 by himself in his room. And I actually remember demoing it that summer. He had sent me the track and the lyrics to it, and I did a demo on my MXL 770 microphone, which was very strange because I like doing our rap songs together. It was weird demoing it by myself, but we did attempt it, and I actually still have that demo version somewhere. Maybe it'll be released someday. But obviously, when we went to record this record, we were like, we gotta redo it properly together. So that's what we did. I remember recording this song. I like this song, I just don't really like my vocal performance on it. I don't know why I do all the weird vocals. But yeah, like, eat the bodies, the talking limes. But yeah, I remember Thomas making fun of me and kind of laughing at me for following him in the chorus, where he goes, "You're trying too hard," and I follow with, "You're trying too hard." I guess it's kind of funny having somebody like copy what you're saying. But yeah. Another thing I really like about this song is Thomas's lyrics, especially the line, "You're worse than Roger on American Dad. Changing your persona, the only fun you ever had, so don't blame me for your LSD blues that you keep finding in the soles of your shoes." I think that line is just so smooth. Even though I have no idea who Roger from American Dad is, I've never seen that show. But I've always really liked that line. I also find it funny the little tidbits that we say in between the song, like, "Gotta finish it today." Like, I remember working on this song a long time. We kept trying to re-record it for some reason. We just couldn't get it right. And you can also hear me saying, "Nice one," when he makes a joke. And yeah, the bell ringing, all that fun stuff. Another thing I'll say about it is that is me screaming, "Where?" and "Care." During the, I guess you can call it like the chorus kind of part, or the after chorus. I don't really know what it would be called. But I actually overdubbed that part at my house using my MXL 770 microphone, because I kind of forgot to do it when we were recording, so I just overdubbed it. But yeah, that little part was recorded at my house. But yeah, I like this song. I like the little conversations we have in between the song. Even though the beat kind of sounds similar to Join Us a little bit, but I think it works because it's on the same record. So yeah. Anyway, track 7 is You and I Were Meant to Be Together. Another song that was written exclusively by Thomas. This song was actually written like right after the release of Under the Influence, because we actually played it on our Live in the Lunchroom set. So yeah, it dates back that far back, and Thomas always liked this song. It's a really simple pop song. I mean, the lyrics are just so simple and pretty charming. But I always really like this one. It's a fun little ditty. But on the Live in the Lunchroom version, he just sings it clean. But on this version, he turns up the rasp in his voice. And I like his harmonies with himself. All the vocals are done by him, where he just goes, "Yeah!" and he just holds that note while he also sings the line. But yeah, so this song was recorded in our separate bedrooms. So Thomas programmed the drums on GarageBand, and then he recorded his guitar by putting his iPhone up next to his amp, and then he recorded all the vocals in the song, and then he sent the track to me all mixed down, and I proceeded to add my bass guitar to it. Now, my bass guitar setup was very primitive at this point. I knew nothing about playing bass or recording bass. So yeah, pretty much how I recorded it was I had this little Fender SP10 practice guitar amp. Like, it wasn't even a bass amp. It was just this old-ass practice amp that I had from my electric guitar. And I would put that on like a little stool, and then I would place my M-Audio Producer USB microphone right next to the amp, and then I would just start playing the song, obviously, and record it that way. But I knew nothing about low end or like low frequencies at this point. I preferred a very high trebly bass tone. So that's what you hear in this song. But I gotta say, I actually like the little lick that I throw in, like in between the verses or choruses. And I remember Thomas liking it too. I mean, it's pretty melodic, very simple and standard, but I think it actually sounds pretty good, especially the odd tone. It kind of works in this song, I think. But yeah, I always really like this song. Just a really simple pop song that probably, may annoy some people, but I think it's kind of charming. And the last thing I'll say about this song is that is me at the end saying, "Who wants to lick some ass?" Which I completely forgot about. When I was listening back to this record a couple weeks ago, I was like, what the hell? I completely forgot about it. I don't know why I said that or why I added it in that song, but I was taken aback by it. I think I probably just wanted to get Thomas's reaction, or maybe it was a reference to somebody who said that. I don't really know, but it was a pleasant surprise when I heard it, because it brought back some memories of me recording that into my M Audio Producer USB microphone. Why? I still don't really know, but yeah, I'm glad it's on the end of this song. Anyway, track 8, the final track on the record, is Chicken Fries. Yes, a song about Burger King's chicken fries. Yeah, Thomas got inspired to write a song about chicken fries because Burger King kept advertising for their damn chicken fries. I swear, like, chicken fries advertisements were, like, everywhere, and we just found them hilarious. I mean, the whole concept of chicken fries is just hilarious to begin with. So he decided to write this song alone in his bedroom, and yeah, I really love this song. I think this is the best closer we ever had on a record, because musically the song sounds pretty similar to Semisonic's Closing Time, but I don't know, I really like the music. It's just so pretty, and I think the song in general is really pretty, even though it has ridiculous lyrics and it's a song about chicken fries, but yeah, I still really like this one and think it's pretty sweet. And I don't know, I have like this vague memory. I don't know if I'm like imagining this or not, or maybe I'm just making it up. I don't really know, but I kind of have this memory of like Thomas wanting to send this song to Burger King so they could use it in their commercials or something like that. I don't know if he ever did, or if I'm just imagining that, or maybe I suggested that. I don't know, but it's kind of funny to think about nonetheless. There's a part in this song where he does like these metal screams, and it's hilarious because they're so much louder than the rest of the song that it really startles the listener. Like, gonna get fat. But it's just so damn loud. I think that was done intentionally, but it may have not been. I think it might have also just been from pure ignorance, because we didn't really know how to mix things back in those days. But yeah, I also really like his solo that he does in this song. But the big thing about this song is that the song ends with a group chorus. Now, the people who sing on the group chorus are Thomas, me, Justin Tongle, Roger Wolcott, and Nicholas Bjorkstrand, who is Thomas's younger brother. So pretty much how they did that is Thomas ended up meeting up with Justin and Roger at school, and they did their section of the big group chorus. And it's funny because you can actually hear them doing their distinct parts. Like Justin screams, "Chicken fries!" into the microphone. And then you hear Roger at the end saying, "Oh, it sounds like a song in itself," which is really nice. But I really like Justin's ridiculous little vocal things he adds to this song. Justin Tongle, obviously a being of Defective fame, who was a Carpentries Records recording artist. And then the Nicholas Bjorkstrand parts, which was Thomas's younger brother, I believe were recorded at his house. At Thomas's house, just with his younger brother. That's Nicholas at the end saying, "Don't quit your day jobs," which is pretty funny. And then my part, I recorded by myself at my house because I felt so left out. Because originally, Thomas never even told me that he was meeting up with Justin and Roger at school. They just did it by themselves. And I was like, I want to be a part of this epic sing-along, because when I first heard this song, I literally had tears in my eyes. The end group chorus, like, something about it, it just like, it made me feel like I wasn't alone in this world, and that there was weirdos just like me, and that, I felt belonged for the first time in my life. It sounds ridiculous because it's a song about chicken fries, but I just loved hearing them all sing this ending chorus together, that I knew that I had to be a part of it. So I recorded my part, just me singing the end chorus by myself at my house using my MXL 770 microphone. So that's me singing like chickadee chick chickadee, and doing some of the more higher vocal lines in this song. So yes, I am a part of this song, even though I recorded my part at my house. But yeah, I don't know why, I love that end group chorus. I don't know why, and I have a hard time saying that. I'm kind of like stumbling over my words here, but give me a break. I've been talking for a very long time. So that's the record for you, people. And if you actually have a CD copy of this record, it actually contains a hidden track of us doing a rap battle against each other. And you could see us attempting to do it in the making of video. So I do my rap battle. That one was kept in the actual take, but then Thomas wanted to redo his part because he didn't like the way his came out. So we did his later in that day. So yeah, that rap battle is only available as a hidden track on the CD versions of this record. And actually, I don't even have a copy of it. I haven't heard it since we did it, since we recorded it back in 2015. But Thomas has a copy of the CD, so maybe someday I'll hear it and I'll get a digital copy and put it up online somewhere. But yeah, that's the record for you. As far as the artwork goes, I created it in Microsoft Paint. Now, back in the summer of 2014, we were originally going to release that version of White Trash Alien that I recorded at my house as a single, and I created artwork for it, which inspired the final artwork to this album, which features like a strange-looking Snorlax-type character, a crying nacho logo, an apple, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the saying, "Ah," written in the left. Yes, that is AGHH exclamation point. So yeah, just somebody screaming, "Ah." And also, certain letters are highlighted in a different color. For example, TSN is highlighted in white, and then the word pig is highlighted in the Primegalime text. So yeah, I kind of wanted to make a little Easter egg to my first solo record that would be coming out later called Man Pig. So that's why I did the pig, and I thought it was just funny to highlight pig. But yeah, that's the artwork for you. So yeah, we released this album on February 19th, 2015. And to promote this one, we also made some more blank CDs, but they weren't as good as the Under the Influence ones because they didn't have a case. I made one version with a case, and Thomas still has it to this day. I made it just for Thomas, and you can actually see me making it in the making of video. So you can see how I would make those kind of CDs. But yeah, Thomas still has that version. I just made one for him. But the rest of the versions on CD were just blank CDs that were put in a crappy sandwich bag that Thomas just gave out to random kids at school. Yeah, like what kind of kid would want just a crappy CD in a sandwich bag in 2015? Nobody even had a CD player. Nobody was listening to CDs. But we just thought it was cool to do like physical versions of stuff. And those little CDs, Thomas wrote something different on each one of them. You can also see that in the making of video where he talks about some of the things that he wrote on them. But yeah, he just had a bunch of these plastic, these CDs in these plastic bags, and these plastic sandwich bags that he would give out to kids. And yeah, if you're lucky enough to have one, it has the hidden track, the rap battle on it. But yeah, once again, it came out, nobody really cared. And yeah, it's kind of a recurring theme in the Sensitive Nachos history. But yeah, I don't really have much more to say about this time period. You know, this record came out, and that was that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. Next week, we'll be discussing the fourth release by the Sensitive Nachos, Broken Bones, Broken Homes, and Floor Lamps. So stay tuned for that, guys. This has been CJ McKenna signing out once again. See you guys.